Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the news roundup with me, Linda Kabuzire, and my colleague, Julius.
Coming up, heavy fighting erupts in Congo, 13 confirmed dead and 100 flee to Uganda. Man arrested in connection to bomb blasts in Kampala, suspected to be part of the ADF.
Now, to our top story. Hundreds of Congolese nationals have fled into Uganda following heavy gunfire exchange between government forces and M23 rebels in eastern DR Congo. Some refugees found at Bunagana border post in Kisoro district in western Uganda said that walked about 40 kilometers from their troubled homes as government forces tried to flush out the rebels. Our reporter has more on this story.
They came in the night and launched the attack and killed many youth who were in the neighbourhood. I was inside the gate and heard cries outside. When I got out to check, I found all my neighbours had been killed with machetes. I was forced to run.
Tit-for-tat conflict between the Hema and Lendu communities in Ituri has simmered for decades, often over land. Survivors say unlike in the past, they were given no warning of recent attacks, and women are not spared.
They burned my house and all my belongings, so we had to run empty-handed. Even the clothes I am wearing now were given to me by Good Samaritans at the border.
The UN Refugee Agency said 4,000 people from Ituri crossed into Uganda in the span of just 3 days in mid-March. The steady influx has taxed local resources.
We don't have a transportation means, in the next 2 hours, so it's only tomorrow morning that we are going to transfer this one. Now, I would like to say that our objective is to ensure that whenever these people arrive here, they spend maximum 24 hours on the site, at the landing site, before they are transferred to the reception center where they can get more services.
The new arrivals will eventually make their way to the Changwali refugee settlement, many still coming to grips with the violence they fled.
Over 1,000 medical interns across the country have today laid down tools demanding that the concerned authorities fulfill the presidential directive of enhancing their allowances to 2.5 million shillings monthly. The interns have vowed not to return to work until their grievances have been solved.
The first major national strike by doctors through the Uganda Medical Association first took place in November 2017, grinding service delivery in major public health facilities to halt. At the time, the leadership of UMA raised issues critical to the welfare of medical personnel that they believe had been neglected by government, which among others included chronic shortage of medical supplies and technologies, unemployment of medical doctors in the positions available in health centers, delayed salary enhancement as directed by the president, as well as failure to provide health insurance to health workers.
We cannot keep giving a service where what we need to use is in shortage. A case in a point, I did over 4 surgeries in a specific hospital that I won't name, but I was using the same scrubs over and over.
5 years later, newly elected UMA President Dr. Samuel Odong has expressed disappointment that the same issues are still plaguing the health sector and affecting the medical personnel's performance.
We deal with lives. We do not have business running around. Our business is purely saving lives. Please, let this be put into action and implemented.
Odong points out that the situation has been exacerbated by the outbreak of COVID-19 in the country.
You find a doctor who is attached to emergency unit is actually using the same mask over and over. And the same cases is reviewing, others turn out to be COVID positive. Imagine that exposure.
Until these issues are addressed, Odong says they will not pick up their tools again.
The Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Monica Musenero, has disclosed the government's plan to put in place a special grant for innovators. This, according to Musenero, will give financial support to science and technology innovators in the country. The minister said this during the kick-off of the Science and Technology Expo. Our reporter has more on this story.
This flag is not just for this exhibition, but it is flagging of science, technology, and innovation in the new speed that it is supposed to move and take the country alongside with it. There we go!
Minister for Science and Technology, Dr. Monica Musenero, launched the National Science Week at Kololo. The Science Week showcases Uganda's ability in science and innovation.
Because sometimes many people are so negative about our abilities, not just as Ugandans, but as Africans. I say no to that mindset. Uganda can, Africa can, and we are going to do it. I just want to invite you into that space of faith. We are going to do it. We cannot allow to leave our countries as underdeveloped. It is us, the citizens, who must take on this responsibility and set our face like flint and not be distracted until we achieve the goal for a science-led socio-economic transformation of our nation.
Musenero reiterated government commitment to support innovators.
If we want to transform this nation, we have to take the bull by the horns and move science and put it at the forefront and really set our face to make science drive socio-economic transformation and industrialization.
Security agencies have mounted an operation and arrested a suspect connected to terrorism activities by the ADF. The suspect, identified as Muwonge, was netted down from Kalule in Bombo. He was in the same area where another suspect in the case of the attempted murder of General Katumba Wamala was arrested from.
Who was the second shooter, being ridden by Warusimbi Kamada, alias Modinka, alias Ogema. He was tracked down and arrested on the 12th of July 2021 from his hideout in Chikomeko village near Kalule Trading Center, Nakatonya Parish, Nimbwa Sub-County, red in color, registration number UDH 888V that was used in the surveillance of their targets.
The Parliamentary Committee of Traders directed Uganda National Bureau of Standards to hold the process of procuring new companies to offer inspection services under the Pre-Export Verification of Conformity to Standards Program, PVOC, until the committee guides on the sharing of the royalties. The Committee of Traders also summoned manufacturers of energy drinks to justify efficacy and safety of their products. Our reporter has more.
A delegation of parliamentarians attached to Trade Committee of Parliament, led by their committee chair Luchamu Zigaliwanga, has pledged support for Uganda National Bureau of Standards in the illicit fight against counterfeit products on the market. The committee chair Luchamu Zigaliwanga made the revelation during orientation exercise held at UNBS headquarters in Weogerere, a Kampala suburb.
And a formal invitation at Parliament. We know they have a lot of challenges, but those challenges can only be discussed at Parliament. One of the challenges is they lack money, they don't have capital to run their business as of now. But I know government is going to handle that as soon as possible. These people will be settled. Because yes, we are behind and we are going to help them, making it a point that they get the money and they run their business, because it's helping us as a country. We cannot let our country deteriorate because of standards.
The chairperson, National Standard Council, Engineer Mastura Mare, highlighted on some of the milestones reached by the Bureau. A case in point, decentralization of offices countrywide, despite the challenges currently at hand.
In business news, the Uganda Manufacturers Association has announced the resumption of the International Trade Fair after a 2-year hold due to COVID-19. During this year's 28th International Trade Fair, Uganda Manufacturers Association is expected to put much emphasis on digital transformation. Manufacturers who are not able to exhibit physically will be granted an opportunity to showcase their products virtually. Our reporter has more.
Speaking on the sidelines of a media briefing in Kampala, UMA leadership disclosed that the past 2 years have had a great negative impact on manufacturers in the country. However, they have gained enough experience to hold successful exhibitions in the forthcoming trade fair.
Uganda Manufacturers Association is excited to host yet another trade fair after 2 years of lockdown. I'm sure most of you have been missing out on the international trade fair that happens every year, because this is an annual event, as the ED said, and it happens. This year's event will happen between the 3rd and 10th October.
We are expecting that 100 of these are going to come from our international partners. And I can tell you that so far, we've confirmed 5 country pavilions that are going to be here. The Danish are going to be here, the Italians, the Indians, the people from the UAE, among others, will have dedicated pavilions where the exhibitors will showcase what comes from those countries. And we're even moving a step further and incorporating country days, where each of these pavilions gets a chance to showcase the culture from their countries, the food from their countries, the music, and other related aspects.
This time round, exhibitors will also be given a chance to exhibit virtually. Also, the trade fair will include sensitization of manufacturers about the benefits of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
What are the objectives? One is, like the chairman said, we need to spotlight local manufacturing. I think we can all agree that local manufacturing has grown by leaps and bounds, and you can only see this when you go to the supermarkets. The shelf space is largely dominated by products made here, which is a big positive for us, and we want to showcase where these are. We also want to highlight innovations and developments, because the show is an opportunity to highlight the changes in the production capacities, the changes in the products on the market. And we feel that after 2 years, there's quite a lot to show, and you will be seeing quite a lot of product launches.
In international news, protesters have today blocked dozens of key roads and bridges in the Sudanese capital, Khartoum. This is due to a new escalation against the ruling military authority. Central Khartoum was paralyzed, shops were closed, many vital streets appeared immobile, and a large number of civil servants and employees could not reach their offices due to the protest movement.
Crowds chanted slogans from the Arab Spring revolutions of 2011.
The Uganda national netball team, the She Cranes, is confident that it has all it takes to win the African Netball Championships this year. Uganda will be starting her journey to becoming champions tomorrow against Tanzania at 10 a.m. in Windhoek, Namibia. 9 countries are taking part in this tournament, with South Africa being the defending champions.
The reason as to why we have a good coordination is because we've been trying out these combinations during training, different widdies, different giddies, different goalkeepers. So every person knows how to play with the other. That's why our defense has a good coordination.
Today I'm grateful that I played my first game. It's not been easy. You know, I've been down for a full week, so it kind of touches you mentally, but I am improving, and I'm looking forward to improving in every game. I would rate myself, because it's my first game and there was so much tension. I really played my best, but of course I'm looking forward to playing my heart out every time I'm given that opportunity. And a great thanks to my coaches, because they've been so encouraging. The coaches that do not put you down even when you do not do your best. The same coaches that encourage you every single day. So I'm grateful to have the best coaches, I will say.
The players that we left behind, who joined us during the last days of the other championships, have proved to me that they are good. They can also perform. That whenever we make a substitution, at least they can fit in the shoes of those persons that they have substituted. So I think that we have a stronger team.
The Uganda Cranes continue to train at Lugogo in preparation for the Kenya and Mali World Cup qualifier games scheduled for 11th and 14th of next month. The coaches are optimistic their teams will win the forthcoming games.
We very well know that World Cup qualifiers are the highest level of competition that we are entering in. We have match behind us In Kenya, I don't want to speak about the hardships that we had there, but returning back, we have analyzed deeply wrongdoings in order to correct them and right doings in order to keep them for tomorrow's game, trying to refresh our mind, trying theoretically to touch everything what is needed for tomorrow's match, looking forward to recover the players for tomorrow's match because we need in match against Mali.
That's all we had time for in tonight's news bulletin with me, Linda Kabuzire and Julius Kertoo.